The second Ashes test gets underway later this week. Will Jacks has been called into the team. Spin bowler and batsman, maybe deepens the batting a bit. And Shoaib Bashir was looked to be first cab off the rank, but they've gone with Jacks, haven't they?
Can't bat, and he's quite expensive. That's the only thing. If the conditions are in his favour, then I'd play him. But otherwise, this is a good selection, I think.
Let's get the thoughts of former England fast bowler, our very own Steve Harmison. Hi, Harmy.
Hello, gents.
Well, let's start talking about Robin Smith. Very sad news this morning. He joined us on the show a few years back, Andy, for a chat, didn't he? I think he had a book out at the time.
He did.
There's a lot of among the tributes. I noticed our own Darren Gough saying that he was so good to him. He kind of welcomed him and put an arm around him when he first got into the England fold. And it does seem that a lot of the tributes about what a decent man he was.
Yeah, absolutely. Sad day for cricket in general. Hampshire County Cricket Club. We've all got our sort of judgy stories. He was an amazing player. I think anybody age between sort of mid-40s to sort of mid-50s will recognise an absolute legend has lost, has gone from the game, because he was, like we talked about Graham Thorpe, he was the batter that everybody wanted to be. A lot of the batters in that generation average between 35 and 30, 38, 39. Graham Thorpe and Robin Smith, I think, probably set them apart from that sort of 80s and 90s generation. The Judgy Waddy averaged 43 in Test match cricket. That was pretty good, that 63 Test matches. And that the time you're talking about, Paul, I remember I interviewed him as well as part of our cricket coverage before COVID, talking about his book. And he was a troubled soul, was the judge after he finished his playing. He had a great time when he played, and I remember my first coming against him was a wayward 18-year-old at Chesley Street, and I was in awe. My captain was David Boone, so I was in awe of Booney. I couldn't speak to him for months because of just who he was. But then when I played against someone like Robin Smith, who I'd watched for so many years on TV, he was probably one of the first ones I'd played against of that stature. And I bowled a few at him, bowled a few faster ones at him. And at the end of the match, because Booney was in our dressing room, in he came, few beers in hand, arm round an 18-year-old, giving you loads of advice, telling you you're going to enjoy the game, enjoy the successes. He was just a really, really nice guy. So when Darren Gough says he welcomed him into the England dressing room, I played against Robin Smith, and he gave me so much encouragement. And then as you see him as the years gone by, as you play your career, and then you see him at functions, that warm smile, warm embrace, strong character. English cricket's lost a legend today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. If for younger viewers, listeners rather than viewers, if you've never seen him play, there's a wonderful 16-minute highlight video I watched before the show of his terrific 148 facing Ambrose and Walsh in their prime, with England coming in with England in trouble, and it's a wonderful innings. And you see how brilliant he was square of the wicket. He was so strong, hooker and cutter, tremendous player. He's sort of ahead of his time a bit, Harmy, wasn't he, in a certain sense?
Yeah, he was. He was a great back foot player, but he had that punch down the ground. I mentioned David Boone, very similar. Punch down the ground. If you overpitched, you hit the ball straight, strong. He was a very, very strong player, strong person, strong handshake. I'll give you a big, strong cuddle when you seen him after games and stuff like that. But in his prime, he was one of England's very, very best, if not during that time, the very best. Like I said before, his average was apart from everybody else in that time. And I remember I always had a joke with him afterwards, because he always said I was one of the first to make him wear a grill on a helmet, because he always wore the earpieces. He never wore the grill, never ever wore the grill, even when he got his cheek broken. I think it was off Ambrose or Walsh. And whenever I see some old fuddy-duddy who says, "I remember I hit you for 6," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I was 11 at the time." I remember keep saying, "Yeah, I met Robin Smith, put a grill on, the first time," but he was 38, 39. He was towards the end of his career. So, yeah. I've got nothing but warmth for him. And whenever you know the mark of a person when he's a legend of international, legend of his county. Whenever you see players from that county dressing room, and I'm thinking now the guys like Sean Udall, very good friend of mine, Mark Nicholas, our very own talkSPORT commentator, Rod Bramsgrove, who basically helped Hampshire get to where they are in the recent times. They brought Shane Warne. Judgy brought Shane Warne to county cricket, but they've all got Robin Smith stories. They've all got warmth stories, and for me, that tells you what a mark of a great character in a dressing room. And like I said before, sadly missed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said, Harmy. Now, moving on to the Test match, I have to tell you, Harmy, that the management have booked your hotel for the next Test match. We've only reserved 2 nights.
2 nights. I mean, that's good. It's good.
That's quite optimistic.
Yeah, I'll take the 2 nights because I mean it starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. I could come down the night before and go straight home straight after for the second day and be that'll be it. But now, joking aside, I mean they have a chance. I heard what you said before about Jack's selection. I like the Will Jack selection. Robin Smith was with the Lions last week. Andrew Flintoff invited him because obviously he was in Perth. So Robin Smith spent a little bit of time with the Lions. I'm not sure if the first team were there as well. But I like this team. I mean, do you go with an extra seamer? I don't think the 5 seamers in a day-night Test match, was really, really warranted. I think it's going to be a quick game. I don't see it going more than 3 days. I like the selection of Jacks. He lengthens our batting. This guy scores hundreds. He's not like Gus Atkinson's got a Test match 100, but Will Jacks will score. If you give him a chance in the top 60, he'd score multiple Test hundreds. He's a proper batter. He's probably just a bit better than Joe Root as a bowler. So I think all round it's a decent selection. Cars Atkinson and Archer. I quite like that. It's a little bit. You got us into this mess. You get us out of it. And I can see England bouncing back. I really can. It's going to come on the toss. I think if the toss of the coin goes England's way, I back England to win.
For me, the whole thing hinges, and this might be a bit ridiculous, but I think Root is the key. If he can't make runs in Australia this time, then we are going to struggle. If he starts to play well, then I think that'll give everybody confidence. And you can see by the way that they've attacked him, the Australian media, they think he's the key player too.
100%, and they always do. It tends to be the captain, but I think going at Ben Stokes, I think that would be counterproductive. I mean, Nasser Hussain tried to go at Steve Ward during one of my series, and that didn't work. You don't go against some characters, and I think I'd leave Ben well alone. You're right, and I've sort of set back a little bit since that second day in Perth. Try to evaluate how we gone overboard. Is there too much criticism towards them? Is it still a bit raw? How they've capitulated in 4.5 hours. I look at it, and when I'm sort of looking at it back and again after I've had a bit of time thinking it, I think it's the first time in McCullum and Stokes where they haven't stayed in the moment. They're very, very good at staying in the moment. Ben bowling first, not bothered about scoreboard pressure on a flat pitch, how many you get, because we'll just go past you and then we'll put pressure on you. I think it's the first time they got a lunchtime on day 2 in Perth and thought, right, we've won this game. Let's really ram the advantage into it. And all of a sudden, within 4.5 hours, they had lost the game because they looked too far ahead, and that's not like this team. And I think Root is key to that because he's the one, like you say, Andy, holds the batting unit together. He got a good ball in the first innings. Second innings, yes, critical. He was pushing away from his body, but it was an inside edge onto the stumps. That could easily have gone past the stumps, and all of a sudden, he's got a couple of runs. He's off and running. So hopefully a little bit of lady luck goes Joe's way this week. And England are definitely going to need him. I think you're 100% right there.
Harmy, thanks very much. We'll catch up with you soon.